I'm going to have a go at trying to explain in the 45 rule as it is, you know, the one that applies for the MAWBOARDS as well as everything else that everyone else is doing. But I just want to run through it so, you know, you're not getting in your head at the moment, you know, all these different names and that lot for different, you know, scribes and things like that. Look, you've got to ignore all of that. Herringbone is herringbone, you know, scribing on the 45 is scribing on the 45. That's pretty much all you need to do. But let's just try to explain the rules that apply, the rules, and, you know, and try and do an honest explanation of it. So what we've got here is a purposely it's not out by masses, but you can see it's running out. Wool, in theory, you know, will be drifting. So like, I know it's only slightly off, isn't it? But it doesn't really matter. If it's coming that way, all the cuts there be too big. And these ones too small. Now, if you've got the balance of it going to be right, so when it's dead on, all your cuts will be square, won't they? They'll be all your cuts will be good on the 45 with the 45 template. But that's all the rule of it is, you know. If it's cutting in one way and it's drifting out, the cuts will drift off. But it's the same rule for the MAWBOARDS as it is for all these other ones. If I was just using the MAWBOARDS as they were at the beginning, I would offer it up. Put it in position, put the template against the wall, scrub it in. See, it's too big because the wool is coming in that way. Now, it's the same rule. Let's just say if they're doing, it's a short scribe. Put one on there, then you put that one behind it. Actually, I might just... I mean, if I was doing it and I had my field glued, I'd probably just use this tape or something, you know. So you'll be dropping it back to there, won't you? And then you've made your template. It'll be one of these, which is the 6, which is the same as, which is the template, isn't it? So you'll be putting this one in there. So if you were using this method, you know, if you've made your template by doing the maths, as they call it, or working it out before you get scribing in, chances are your cuts are going to be wrong. This one will be too big too. See? Now, if we were going the other way, just a tiny bit short. So if I'd have been doing it with the same as as they're calling it, just by dropping it back the plank width, see, pretty much the same line, and it's just, you know, it's not massively short, but so that just says the wall isn't out, but you can see that one is drifting off. So that is the same, isn't it? That's basically the rule of the 45. And, you know, if you're making the templates by the size of the tiles, these are the rules you've got to follow, unless you're going to do it the traditional, which is twice that. So again, you know, it's why the holly board is good. So I'll show the holly board in a second first, but I'll just show you what a better way to do it. Even if it was just dropping it back on the 6, if you wanted to do it that way. You know, if you're not using a MAWBOARDS or anything, you would just, this would be a better way to do it. Then you're not going to be able to work it out on the maths if the walls are pissed, are they? Are you? So, I mean, we've got the herringbone as the answer, haven't we? But we're just showing this for... See, now you've got it perfect. Now all I'd have to do, if I was going up that wall, and this is the way how you'd make your template, you wouldn't make it the way that everyone else. So once you've got to cut in perfectly, drop that into position. Tile would affect the edge under it. Okay. So now, okay, so that's how you want to do it if you want to make your templates. But the rules will be different, cutting in different ways and different sides, won't they? So if you're dropping it back to that 6 there, all you'd be doing if you were using the MAWBOARD is dropping it back to the 7, wouldn't you? That's all the MAWBOARD is. But it does it on every one and keeps it all the same. Now that's if the wall is out. See, the difference is the herringbone board is simple. It doesn't matter if the wall's slightly in or not. It doesn't really matter the size of the plank. It doesn't, you know, none of the things that affect all of those other methods or however you're working apply. So yeah, I mean, there's all the other ways. They're good fun to learn if you have got an interest in that sort of thing, because it is good fun to learn. But it's not teaching you anything better to know that way than basically if you just cut a tile in perfectly, put it back in position and mark the tile. So okay, and it really doesn't matter what way you're going either, as long as it fits in the board. Whether it's, you know, square or not, it makes no difference. Unless the wall's right on the rake, but then obviously you've got other rules for that. But if I haven't made a template yet or not, I'm just going to use the pipe binder, aren't I? So you have two, you have the 3mm and the other one. I'm just going to use these for now. By putting that on the side there, you can get your mark, can't you? So you've dropped it back 6, you find the number 6 hole. And you can either use your tile, it doesn't really matter what you use. Slide her up, buttercup. See, that's okay if you're going with the herringbone. You already know that wall's out, so if you're dropping it back to that one, use the one on top, can't you, to get your thing in. Just get your pipe binder again, slide her up. There's your number 6. This is not, you know, the part that everyone shows you. That's the reality of what you've got to face when you go there. But these told this, you let's